they say that we committed the government. I mean, we cannot commit the government. Obviously, we're not government officials now.
Justice Carpio, so just to end on this part of the episode, before we go more into the West Philippine Sea issue, in particular, itong squad and Balikatan, I want to get also your view on that before we end this episode. Nakakabahala ba ito? Kasi for sure, if we expel some of their top-level officials, magre-retaliate din sila, and then less there will be communication channels. Again, as I said, diplomacy is, if diplomacy were just for friends, it's not diplomacy, right? It's happy times. You need diplomacy precisely with problematic counterparts, right? So aren't you worried about the diplomatic channels collapsing here at the rate things are going? Although, of course, I squarely blame China for doing this. Everyone is now scared to talk to them. Baka mamaya i-record ka nila, tapos anong gagawin nila dyan?
Well, that's to be expected. We have a valid ground to expel whoever this Chinese guy is, and the Chinese will retaliate, and that's accepted. But it will end there. This has happened several times between the U.S. and Russia, or
Yes,
even
Russia. I wanted to
the
say
USSR.
Russia. Yeah.
Yeah, they expel each other, and they expect that their counterpart will be expelled also, and that's the end of it.
And
So,
you think even the problem is, I mean, this might go all the way to the ambassador, right? But I mean, how do you compare Zhao with the Xian? I mean, like Zhao, the former ambassador, seemed to be far more sophisticated, I would say, even though, of course, meron siyang advantage na dealing with Duterte. But he was there even during Aquino's time. 2014 pa lang, alam ko si Zhao was there. So baka may problema din ang ambassador dito, hindi kaya? Aside from the whole modus operandi.
Well, I don't know him personally, but I don't think we should go to that level, expelling the ambassador. There are many people below him that we can expel, and if you do that, it will not escalate anymore. But if you expel the ambassador himself, that's a serious action.
O in short, yung mga ano na lang niya, yung mga parang Harry Roque niya, yung mga ano lang niya, mga spokesman niya, yung mga ganun niya.
The deputy or the political counselor.
Like that, or I don't know, charge d'affaires or something like that at highest probably. Now, going back to this, Justice Carpio, what is your read naman of the Philippines and the whole squad thing? Is this squad with Australia, US, Japan, is it for the gram, for the photo op, or do you think there's something more substantial here in addition to joint patrols becoming a new normal in the West Philippine Sea?
Well, if you compare it to the Quad, in the Quad you have one party there, India, that has no defense treaty with the U.S. Here in the Squad, all the parties have a defense treaty with the U.S. And so this is more. This is actually the more substantive grouping as far as the South China Sea is concerned. But if you look at the larger Indo-Pacific, well, you really need India with you if you want to cover the entire Indo-Pacific.
Yeah, my understanding with India is that, of course, there's a lot of tension and disappointment with them. I mean, the Indians are very clear. This is all about their own great power moment, right? And I remember when I asked some Munich Security Conference, the Quad panel there, is this the Asian NATO? Obviously, it's not. But, just to provoke discussion, si Jai Shankar, their very outspoken foreign minister. In fairness, dapat ganun sana si Harry Roque, yung parang Jai Shankar type ni Modi. He went out and said, no, we are here just, essentially saying alliance of convenience ito. This is not a treaty alliance. We work where it serves us. And alam natin, India, Russia, bromance, beshi. China, ingat sila kasi may border disputes din sila and they don't want to get into fight with China anytime soon kasi may mga concerns din sila. So the Philippines, although mas maliit sa India and all of that, it looks like a much more aligned country. Hindi lang treaty ally, pero in terms of values, orientation, China position, right? So this looks like a more swak Quad for dealing with China. Because I know naturally people say, what about South Korea? I'll say, what about North Korea, right? Ang laki ng problema ng South Korea sa North Korea. Impit sila dun eh. At least the Philippines, kahit mas mahina tayo sa India and Korea, military-wise, we can be very helpful. And speaking of which, how do you read these Balikatan exercises? We had an exercise in Cagayan where we essentially simulated China taking over Batanes or Mavulis or something like that and taking it back. I mean, clearly the Philippines is leveraging its geography, right? And we're really preparing for a Taiwan contingency.
Well, I think we also have to show to China that we are not helpless. We are not defenseless. And this is it. I mean, where the Americans brought in their Typhoon missiles, and it's a message to China that the missiles from the Philippines could reach them. I think it's a matter of messaging. Of
And
course,
right.
we have our Brahmos already. That would cover the Spratlys, but that won't those missiles won't reach the Chinese mainland. But this Typhoon class of missiles will reach the mainland. So it's a powerful signal.
And what do you think about the whole HIMARS exercises, sea stars, sinking a ship? I mean, there were also exercises in South China Sea, and for the first time, nagkaroon ng drills outside the 12 nautical miles territorial sea natin, and also France joining in. And the French are about to start their negotiations over a reciprocal access agreement. How do you see those exercises going? How
Well,
important are they? Yeah.
I'm very in favor of them because once they conduct naval drills in our exclusive economic zone in the West Philippine Sea, they're actually telling China that under the arbitral award, this is the exclusive economic zone of the Philippines, and there is freedom of navigation, including naval drills. And that's exactly what we're doing. So in fact, they are enforcing the arbitral award. It's, for me, it's the most tangible enforcement of the arbitral award because you're using warships to say that this is the exclusive economic zone of the Philippines per the arbitral award. So I
And
think
that
we
there's
should
no
have more
nine-dash
of
line.
that.
Yeah, and that
Yeah.
nine-dash line is nonsense that we don't follow
Yes.
nine-dash line. Kasi nasa loob ng nine-dash line yung exercises eh. And walang
Yeah.
pakialam ng France, go pa rin.
Yeah, that's exactly the message being sent, that your 9 dash line doesn't exist.
And you think, Justice, we should do this every year na, more regular.
Yes, we should. We should.
Ito na dapat talaga.
It should be done so that it becomes routine and it will sink into the minds of everybody that that is really the exclusive economic zone of the Philippines because they keep on invoking the arbitral award, and that's to our benefit.
And last point, Justice, on this. First of all, what is your read of the Marcos administration foreign policy so far along these lines? Are we doing what would have had happened had anyone aside from Duterte won 2016? In a sense that kung si Grace po yung president or Maro has, Binay, debate natin yan. Parang ito yung gagawin nila, di ba? I mean, what we're seeing
Yes,
now in 2024 should have been what happened in 2017, right?
that's correct. This is really the logical move because once you have the arbitral award, then you should press your advantage already. Ask the allied countries to join you in joint patrols because that's the most robust enforcement of the arbitral award. And China couldn't do anything. China is totally helpless when the naval powers of the world conduct naval drills in area where they claim it is their national territory. Remember, everything within the 10-dash line, China says it's their national territory. So can you just imagine US and European warships and we ourselves conducting naval drills in what China considers to be their national territory? It's really a big slap on their face. And they couldn't do anything.
And you think if we have this RAA, reciprocal access agreement with the French, with the Japanese, baka we're looking at regular joint drills, hindi lang patrols in the 200 nautical miles.
We need those. We have to really to strengthen our alliances because that's all we've got right now. As we build up a credible self-defense force, we must rely on alliances. Even when we have the credible self-defense force, we must still strengthen our alliances because you're facing a huge country, a nuclear armed country with the largest navy in the world, largest coast guard in the world, largest submarine force in the world. So how do you fight a country like that? You just have to get allies.
Justice, so we're about to end this episode, but I'll have one question also about something more inspirational. But what do you think Marcos should do in the coming years? What should be the next logical step? So you said what he's doing right now is what any logical president not named Duterte would have done anyway. So there's nothing genius about what Marcos is doing. Let's be absolutely clear, because I think some people are going gaga. Oh, Marcos Jr. is such a genius. No, he's not. He's just doing what any self-respecting Filipino leader should have done. Tama naman si BBM dun sa speech niya sa Australia, di ba?